Hi everybody, it's Cathryn from In the Pink Designs. My project today is a small gift treat box for a Lindt Chocolate Heart. I got these at Target. They were $1.50. They were kind of near the dollar spot when you walked in, and they also had some in the back by the Valentine. But you could also put some of the little Hershey Valentine hearts in here. A couple, probably 4 would fit inside. All right, it measures 3.5 this way by 2.5 by 1/2. Alrighty. So I used today the Country Bouquet bundle. For this sentiment, I used the Something Fancy dies. It's this one right here. But you don't have to use this if you don't want to. I just cut it and then put it underneath. But I love how it has the slanted edge at the end. I really like that. I used the Stylish Shapes dies for the circle in the inside and some glittered organdy ribbon. Alright, so let's see what we need today. We need a piece of window sheet that is 2¼ by 2¼ 2 pieces of the Country Gingham DSP. This is Sweet Sorbet, which is also 2¼ by 2¼ and then a piece of Sweet Sorbet that is 6½ by 4. Now you can get 3 of these out of 1 sheet of cardstock. Alright, so this came from up here. There's also another extra piece here that you would cut 4 inches off the long way and then cut it down to 6½ and then you would cut it this way and cut 4 and 4, okay, and then 6½ alright, because it's 7, so you get 1 out of the length and then 2 this way, and that's how you would get 3 of them out of 1 sheet of cardstock, 8½ by 11 cardstock. Alrighty, alright, so now what we need is my Simply Scored. This is my host code. If you're going to spend on my website anything under $150, please put the host code in and I can send everybody a little something. Alright, so also during celebration, only until the end of February, there's a joining bonus if you'd like to be on my team. There's no obligation. You get the discount for 3 months and you get $175 worth of product for $99 if you want just the product. If you would like one of the little mini machines, which is the boho blue or the regular mini cutting machine, it would be $129 for $175 worth of product, which is an excellent offer. So if you are thinking about joining, I would love to have you on my team, and that link is below. Alright, so we're going to start on the 6½ inch side, and we're going to score at 1/2, 3, 3½, and 6. Then we're going to turn it to the 4-inch side, and we're going to score at 1/2, 3, and 3½. Alright, now I'm just going to fold and burnish all of the score lines. Alright, and this is what we're going to do. Okay, how I have this sitting is there are 1/2 inch strips all over. So there is 1 1/2 inch strip on the left, on the bottom, and on the right. And on the top, there is 2 1/2 inch strips. Okay, so that's how it has to be sitting when we start cutting. All right, we're going to go to the first score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge each side of the square. Go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, next score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge each side of that square. Okay, we're going to go to the next score line, and we're going to cut it to the first score line, and then wedge up into the piece above it, just a little bit. So that's the bottom. Okay, now we're going to turn it around to the other side. We're going to go to the first score line, cut it to the second score line, and wedge into that piece above it. Okay, then we're going to skip these two rectangles, go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, next score line, cut it to the first score line. We're going to get rid of that square on the bottom and wedge the square a little bit. Okay, now we're going to skip these two, go to the next score line, cut it to the second score line, get rid of this square on the bottom, and wedge each side of the square that's left. Okay, now we need a corner rounder. Now my 1-inch corner rounder went kaflooey, so now I'm using a 1/2 inch, but it doesn't matter. You can use whichever one you like. We're going to round all 4 of these top edges here. Alright, and this is what your cardstock should look like after you're done scoring it and cutting it. Okay, now before we put it together, we have to cut our hole right here, but we have to put our DSP on first on just one side. So on the left hand square here, the big square, is where we're going to put our DSP on, and they are 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and this is the Country Gingham DSP. Try not to put on too much glue because it will definitely squeeze out when you cut it. Okay, and then I used a die from the Stylish Shapes die, which cuts out about a 1 3/4 inch circle. Okay, and I'll use that for something else. But that's about the size of the circle I cut. You can do anything near it with whatever die you have. So I'm just going to put this down like that. And then I'm going to put this through my machine, and I'll be right back. Okay, that's what it looks like after you cut it. Now we're going to flip it over, and we're going to put our window sheet in the inside of the circle, which is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. All right, now what I want you to do is make a square at least 1/8 of an inch away from the circle opening. You don't want it to be too thick because it'll definitely squeeze into the window. We don't want that. So I just put a thin line of glue around, and I'm just going to press it, and I might have got a little out there, but it mostly stays in as long as you have it nice and thin. All right. Okay, now we're going to get some tear and tape, and we're going to put it on this piece of the skinny rectangle that we wedged, okay, and put this tear and tape right next to the score line. I'm going to take your pick tool, and I'm going to take the backing right off of there. I'm going to flip it over to the inside, flip over the side with the tape, and flip this other side to meet it. Okay, now this is our front, okay? So I'm going to put down the sides and the back, and I'm going to use a little bit of glue on the back of the front flap. And I'm just going to, whoops, let's put these opened. Just push that down. Okay. Now, Now, these hearts are skinny. They're only about 3/8 inch high, but I didn't want to make these 3/8 inches because it's just so tedious to work with. So what I did so that it stays in there a little bit better is I took some shred. Now you can get this at the Dollar Tree, or I get a lot after Easter when it's 90% off, and I don't have to, I paid 12 cents or something like that. All right, so I'm just going to put it in and put the heart on top of it, and then just put enough so that the heart will stay nice in the window. Oops, there we go. Okay, so that's good enough. It wasn't really too much, but if you don't mind it a little bit loose in there, then you don't have to bother with that. Okay. All right, now we're going to close it. And what I'm going to do, well, we'll just leave that for now. All right, now we're going to do some stamping. We need some basic white cardstock. And I used the little heart from this and the outline heart, which also cuts out from that. All right, but I'm just going to stamp both of them, and I'll use the other heart at some point. So this is Sweet Sorbet Ink. You can use a matte because this is photopolymer, but I haven't had a problem, so. Alrighty, and then I'm going to do this heart. Okay, and then with soft Seafoam ink, I'm going to do 2 sets of the leaves because I used 3. There's a little one poking out there, but I don't want to do that one, so I'm going to just use 3. So I'm just going to stamp with the soft Seafoam twice. Maybe this way here. Okay. Alright, and now I'm going to use the Country Bouquet Punch. We're going to punch out. Ooh, I might have to do that hard again because it's going to get cut. Oopsie. Alright, so I'm going to cut these out. And we need the little one. And we're going to save this one here. Okay, and we're going to save this one for another project. And we need that one. I don't know if this was silly. I should have done this in a strip. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, and then we need this open inside one. And then we only need 3. I took a chunk out of that one, but we only need three of them, so that's okay. All right, so that's a good one. And these 2 we need. Alrighty. I'm sorry, I forgot to put this in the beginning. Cut this label from the Something Fancy dies. The die goes right here and there. I didn't get the stamp set, but I got these dies because I know that these will be very useful to me. I love those. Okay. So then we have to stamp I Love You in Sweet Sorbet towards the right side. I left a little bit of room right there for a dot, for one of the matte dots. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to first glue, decide which ones I want. I'm going to glue these 2 there, and then this one we can stick under after. So I'm going to glue these right here. You don't need glue at the very tip because that hangs off. All right. right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to pop up this heart. I'm going to move these down just a tiny bit. There we go. I want to put the heart right there, but what we're going to do is use dimensionals. So I'm going to put one there, not all the way to the edge. One right here. And then maybe I have a little piece. You can cut a tiny piece or use a mini dimensional right here because we want to be able to stick things in there underneath. All right. And we're going to put our heart right like that. Okay. And then we're going to put on, oh, no. All right. Now we're going to take this and I'm going to cut it with about, I'd say, 1/4 inch after the eye, so we have room before the eye actually. All right, and then I'm going to glue this down. I'm only going to put a strip in the middle so that it doesn't stick out too far. Nope, we're going to have to cut that a little bit. It depends on where you put your dimensionals. That's perfect, just like that. Whoop. Okay, and then we're going to put this leaf right under there, and this mostly stays on so you don't have to leave too much without glue. And I'm just going to tuck it right underneath the sentiment there. Right, and now for this heart, we're just going to put it over here. So what we need is a mini dimensional right in the bottom. I'm going to get my take your pick tool, get a mini dimensional off, and put it as far as I can to the V. Like this, let's see. Yeah, and then we're going to put a little bit of glue up here. And we're just going to attach it to this one. Okay. Okay, I forgot to attach my back piece of DSP, which you could do, but I would do it after I sent it through to cut the hole in the front, just because you want less chance of any glue squeezing out on your project. Or you could just glue, if you're going to do a bunch, you could glue a lot and wait a little while and let them fully dry, and then they won't squeeze out. Okay, so now what we need is some glittered organdy ribbon and a hole punch. Now I have a 1/8 inch hole punch, but you could use whatever you want. Just has to be smaller than 1/2 inch because then it will poke through the top here. Okay, just try to get them together. And then I'm just going to poke 2 holes towards the center. Okay. And then I'm going to run some glittered organdy through it and tie a bow. Alright, and for the final touch, I'm going to bring in some 2022 to 24 in color matte decorative dots. And up here, which I have all of them because I never see them when they're in the package. I forgot they were under there. All right, and I'm going to put a large one in the top of this big heart, a little one underneath it, and then a small one right over there. And that's it. If you have any questions, my email is below, and the link to my shop where you can purchase any of these products. Also the link to my blog that has all the measurements for everything. Alrighty, if you'd like to join my team, you can contact me through my email if you would like to. If you have any questions about that. Alrighty, have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.